Hello. Today I'd like to talk briefly about the current situation, especially in the Middle East. There are, of course, we all know the problems and the military involvement. But thinking about the Middle East, we should think for a moment about the lives of those people, about the past experience, about the humiliation they felt in the last 100 years, if not more. When I said I referred to the Turkish, to the Arabs, to the Persians. For a long, long time they were under the Ottoman domination. Since the end of the First World War, then the colonial powers divided the Middle East regions in different countries. In those areas, there were not different nations. There were tribes, sheikhs. Saudi Arabia is an invention. Same thing with Jordan. So, when I speak about the United States, I think, since I lived there a few years, many years ago, 5 decades ago, but I learned to understand which are their feelings and which are their perceptions of the world, which of course their perception is very limited, and they are guided by the main media, which is a biased direction, unless there are the dissidents like television, like the Real News Network, Democracy Now, and things like that. I follow very closely the Real News Network because it impressed me with the clarity and with the professionally they assume their task, and the broad perspective, and also with the people who are interviewed. And I can think about Paul J. He's the founder. I think about the people like Marx Blumenthal. He speaks about Gaza. He speaks about Israel. He has a very critical opinion about Israel, and he can do it because he's a Jew. If I say the things that Marx Blumenthal or Norman Finkelstein said about Israel, I will be in a real big problem. But who can attack them? Because they saying what they feel, and they're very courageous journalists or writers. Then I have to mention Chris Edges, which is really, is incredible person. Not only he lived in Central America. He been in the Middle East. He knows about it, and he speak out about the oligarchy, the regime who took charge in the United States. Then I follow closely Noam Chomsky, one of the greatest intellectuals of our times. YouTube allowed me to realize there are so many interesting and outstanding academicians. I thought I knew something about the book of Karl Marx, The Capital. But when I saw the classes about reading The Capital by Professor David Harvey, I knew that I had a lot to learn. So I follow him in his classes in YouTube. Then YouTube allowed me also to get in touch with important universities. So what I'm trying to explain in some way that to understand the geopolitics, we have to understand the people involved, not only the ruling class, the minorities, but the people involved in those areas. So to understand the United States, we have to understand the people of the United States, how it works, how the system. Same thing with Russia. I find that the ambassador, the former ambassador Matthews, I think, from the year 1991, he understands perfectly well how the Russians feel and think. Same thing I can say about Professor Cohen. He understands quite well the situation and understood the dangerous path that the United States was taking in Ukraine, provoking deeply the Russian Federation. So in this context, I think that we have to go beyond the usual information, the meeting, the diplomatic meetings, or the bombs they throw. We have to think about how the Arabs feel, how the Arabs felt in the last 100 years with so many humiliations. They were colonized even by their own minorities. And the minorities, I like to point out, they're always in conflict with themselves. And sometimes in those countries, when one minority takes power, the other ones, they usually have to go to other countries because life becomes very difficult for them. So we'll see people who happen to be in the United States or United Kingdom for 10, 20 years or more, all of a sudden, they are in the first place, in the first line to replace the minority that the United States like to extract for a given country. So are people that they have connection in the United States, they work for the United States, and the United States want to put them in charge. That's very simple to understand. The other thing I like to talk about briefly is the statistics. How to measure the societies. I find very interesting the Human Development Index, the Gini Index, give me the inequality, Transparency International. There are many, many, and I think this is just like a medical doctor when reading the test, the results of the examination. So in society now, in sociology and all the human science, we have that kind of tool which is help us to have a better understanding or approach to a particular situation in a given part of the world. So for today, I think that will be all. Thank you.